Hello. Want to talk about the reality of living with an EV that nobody talks about. Misinformation out there, and it's good when people who own them give an accurate view of what it's like to own one. The oil company don't want you to. They'd rather continue to sell you lots of oil. Buying an electric car is expensive and it's a problem, but the MG made in China is only £25,000, and China will soon be sending shed loads of their electric cars to the UK, and all the BMWs, Mercedes, all these very expensive, even Tesla car manufacturers are going to look a little bit silly. There will be a lot of affordable EVs and not just the MG coming our way soon, so that's going to be good, because at the moment there were far too many big huge SUVs. So by the time new petrol and diesel cars are banned for sale here 2030, there will be many more used EVs for sale, and they won't just be BMWs and Mercedes, as well as petrol and diesel cars. My Tesla will be 9 years old by then. Not everyone needs a fast charging wall box at home, because if you started charging at 6 p.m. in the evening until 8 in the morning, that's 14 hours, and that will give you 140 miles into your car. We have the benefit of a 220, 240 volt system here, much higher than most of the world. And if you do need more for your daily driving, you might need a fast wall charger or top up at a public charger. Some people are concerned that when everyone's got an EV, the national grid won't be able to cope. If everyone's charging cars, there's not going to be enough electricity to go around. Well, the thing is, here's the answer: EVs can charge at night. The wind turbines are flying around at 90 miles an hour at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and there's not many people watching telly or cooking or using electricity, so it's an ideal time. And more this country is using wind turbines and solar, and it's good that this electricity can be used. A lot of it is saved in batteries, but not all. A lot of it is wasted. So cars charging in the early hours of the morning is very good use of renewable energy. It's true there are not enough public EV charge points. And what if you live in a flat or an apartment? Well, I charge my EV at home, but regularly check out my local public chargers, and I've got lots of options. And should I move into an apartment, I know exactly where I would charge. I don't think I'd go to Genie Point at 57p a kilowatt, except in an emergency, or Shell New Motion. It used to be 25p locally, and then it's gone up to 55, 79p and 85p a kilowatt, depending on your speed. But it's owned by Shell, so really what do you expect? Shell made over 25 billion profit in the UK in 2022. That's more than the UK government get in fuel duty for petrol and diesel tax on every car, van and lorry. I think one of my favourite apps is the ZapMap app, showing you where every public charger is in the UK, as well as destination chargers. Yes, I've got a Tesla supercharger, but it's always good to have a second option. That's the first rule of having an EV, a second charging option, just in case. And it's always good to find out these options when you don't desperately need fuel, when don't leave it till you've got 5 miles an hour of charge left. On the ZapMap app, you'll find, as well as all the different charges, you'll see how much they are. Some are a rip-off and some are not. Zap Home, these are people who are offering their home chargers to the general public, off-street parking. We've got someone local, and he's got solar energy surplus. He's selling it for 30p a kilowatt. I think that's a great idea. Thousands of people all around the country are doing this. I've checked, and there is somewhere where you live, close to you. You phone them up, they tell you the price, and that's how it's arranged. It seems very good. It's a modern equivalent of having too many eggs, so you sell a few to the locals. That's a great idea, and I recommend you take a look at the ZapMap app. Now, ChargePlace Scotland, the government have got lots and lots of public chargers. I've used them when I was there, they're excellent. The prices have gone up a little recently, but it's way cheaper than a lot of the prices we're paying in England. Sure, I've got the Tesla supercharger. They're not everywhere, and charge places in Scotland is a lot cheaper. So if you're staying somewhere and you've got a bit of time, they tend to be a little bit slower. Superchargers are there for fast, lots of energy, really quick. Often the charge is finished when you still got things to do, like eating. But the Charge Place Scotland is excellent. I recommend, if you're going to Scotland from anywhere, get a card. They're free. They take details of your bank, so when you use it, they take the money from your bank account, and that is really excellent. I wish the UK government did the same thing. Who knows? One of my favourite shows is Fully Charged. I enjoy Robert Llewellyn and Jack. Jack lives in London and he lives in an apartment and he uses on-street chargers.
I mean, is it even practical? Can it even be done? Spoiler alert. Yeah. That's fine. I do it. But if you're new to all this, I do appreciate that charging is probably the most daunting aspect of EV ownership. It is, after all...
He has a first choice and a second choice. The first choice is right in front of his flat, but he can't always do that because councils, and this is another thing, councils can put in these chargers anywhere there's a street light, and there's going to be more and more of that. Jack does that. Often there's a car park there, so he goes to his second choice, which is about a 10-minute walk, and then he has a coffee, and it's part of his sort of routine. But living in London, he can do it. Now, the big elephant in the room is what happens when we all stop driving petrol diesel cars and the government don't get the tax on that. Well, it's 22 billion a year. First and foremost, they will be taxing the electric, maybe not as much. But put into perspective, the government get 12 billion a year from people smoking cigarettes, which surprised me it was that high. I could imagine it was a lot higher years ago, but as more and more people stopped, the government look at other ways to charge. So I don't see that's a problem. The government receive £800 million a year, of which 22 billion is from fuel duty. 2.75%, less than 3%. So they'll find it elsewhere. Most people used to smoke, and the government tax on cigarette was huge. So as we transform from gas to electric, the government will find other ways to tax us. The UK charges VAT on every car sold, electric, petrol, diesel. In Norway it's zero, and that is why they have more electric cars per capita than any other country in the world. And their electricity is much cheaper than in the UK, and they have lots of hydroelectricity from mountain rivers and dams. So what do you think? Please leave a comment below. Hope you like, and if you did, please subscribe and hit that notifications bell. And please don't forget to take your reusable mug wherever you go. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.